understand? Absurd situation, really absurd situation. But hey, Randy, you are not a Supreme Court judge. Maybe you would never be. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will never be.
And I'm not even a lawyer. You understand? But the law ought to be logical, ought to make sense. And in this particular case, extremely difficult that somebody against a party can actually be forced by some interpretation of the Constitution to remain part of that party, and therefore by right should attend meetings of the party. Very strange decision, but the decision has been made. Okay. Now the question then is that what is the purpose of this decision? What is the effect of this decision? As we speak, as we sit here this morning, Parliament is not sitting. And government and its caucus in Parliament, the MPP caucus in Parliament, insists that there is urgent business to be done. That is why they signed a petition calling on the Speaker to reconvene Parliament and so on. Okay. This decision, can it in any practical terms lead to reconvening of Parliament? I doubt. A petition may be filed,
50%.
Yes, compelling the Speaker to reconvene Parliament. When the Speaker reconvenes Parliament, just on the basis of the standing orders, he needs numbers to be able to allow Parliament to work. If those numbers are not present in Parliament, Parliament cannot work, even if the Speaker is compelled to reconvene Parliament. So what is the effect of the Supreme Court decision? What is the practical effect of the Supreme Court decision? This Supreme Court decision cannot by any stretch of imagination lead to an order about where people should sit in Parliament. It cannot. So this whole hula baloo about where parliamentarians sit has not been resolved by this Supreme Court decision. I read newspapers yesterday. I read all the newspapers I could find yesterday, and 3 of them carried a very interesting story. New Crusading Guide, the Daily, and one other newspaper. And they gave reasons why Honorable Afenyo Markin is acting in the manner he is acting today. And they quoted Honorable Afenyo Markin. And his primary reason was that this whole issue is spiritual. It's not a legal issue, it's not a constitutional issue, it is a spiritual issue. Spiritual! Randy, Afenyo Markin says this is a spiritual issue. Are we taking spiritual issues to the Supreme Court? But the Supreme Court does nations on spiritual issues. As Afenyo Markin wants us to believe, why did he take the matter to the court, to the Supreme Court, spiritual issue? Why? Didn't he know that there is somebody on the Intex Road called Archbishop Dr. Williams? He didn't know that bill?
You don't know.
He didn't know of Obinim and
you don't
so
know
on.
who he has consulted. The legal matter to the, and he is also exercising the spiritual things elsewhere.
He did not talk about legality.
He says speaking that in court. He's speaking law in court, and he's speaking spirituality.
I mean, when I read that piece yesterday, matter is spiritual, honorable. You are wasting our time on spiritual matters. God actually sits on a spiritual matter. What he says, you know, and yesterday I was so completely shocked. But be that as it may, the court has made a determination. There's a school of thought which insists that the law and its interpretation ought to be purposive. So we need to find the purpose that this ruling serves. And I'm struggling. I can't find it.
Maybe when the decision comes, when we see the
consequential orders.
No, so they will give us the reasons for the decision. So the reasons plus the consequential orders will give us maybe a deeper insight.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see it now, and I can't.
Because you are not a spiritual man.
That is true.
Okay.
Randy, that one there, you are correct. I mean, I saw the spiritual business and so on. I'm not into that vocation at all. You know. But then, can this lead to a reconvening of Parliament? By itself, it cannot.
Yes.
Can it determine where people sit in Parliament? By itself, it cannot. So what is the purpose of all this ruling, all this hula baloo and so? What is the purpose?
Maybe it's a guide to future. So two things will happen. One, the MPP gets to keep its majority until the expiration of this.
But the MPP has no majority.
No, I'm saying that the MPP side was declared the majority.
No,
I'm saying that the speaker, the same speaker.
No.
Why?
Randy, the speaker was careful.
Yes.
In his ruling that day to make the point that there's no majority caucus in Parliament. There cannot be. By virtue of Article 98(1), G and H, that there could not be a majority party in Parliament. And therefore the Speaker's ruling was that because the independent candidate had opted to work with the MPP side, there was a majority group and not caucus. The Speaker was emphatic on that, and a minority group. Because it would have been very strange, exceedingly strange, if anybody, not just the Speaker, had declared that 137 can mathematically be superior to 137. It's a mathematical impossibility. Yes, sir. So the Speaker could not have made that declaration. So the Speaker, in his own wisdom, and being who he is, and so on, then decided to use group instead of caucus. I was opposed to the Speaker's ruling at that time, because it raised many fundamental constitutional and legal matters, you understand. But everybody allowed it to go. What we are suffering today is a consequence of that ruling by the Speaker declaring the MPP group majority. Because the independent decided to opt to work with them. Yes. So that gave them a working majority. Group as a group. Yes. Not as a party caucus. Yes. So there's a majority group. Yes. Majority group. Yes. But even that, I believe that a strict application of the provisions of the Constitution disabled the Speaker from making that decision. Strict application. But we've gone past that, and nobody challenged it in court. At the time, I warned that it will have consequences, and now we have consequences. You know, what I think actually happened was that this whole idea of 137 as against 137 had never occurred in our parliamentary history, right from independence. Never occurred. And I don't think that anybody assumed that one day we'll be faced with this reality. So the tradition, the practice, the standing orders and all has been couched in such a way as to reflect majority versus minority. When the situation changed, we needed to have done re-engineering, to rewrite the standing orders, to take account of the fact that, look, we are now in uncharted territory. We are now in a territory in which the MPP has 137, the MPP has 137, and there's no majority. rather than read through the standing orders and recraft the standing orders and so on, the Speaker chose the easy option of declaring the independent candidate or independent member of Parliament and the MPP majority group. I have to be careful how I speak, because otherwise I'll describe this as a very lazy option. Lazy option. And the lazy option is what has brought us here. The lazy option is what has brought us here. In any case, Parliament is supposed to wind up its business by Friday. Okay. Not originally, nothing has changed. That hasn't changed. There's no decision which changes that as we sit here. It may change, but it hasn't changed. You understand? So Parliament is supposed to wind up its business by Friday. Today is Wednesday. All of you members of Parliament know that it is extremely risky now to be spending your time in Parliament rather than in your constituencies. That's a real practical problem for you as members of Parliament. How do you overcome that problem? And in any case, even if you decided to leave your constituencies and go to Parliament, to go and carry on business as usual and so on, how are you sure of achieving a quorum, of making a quorum? It's impossible to determine now. Now, you yourself signed a petition compelling the Speaker to reconvene Parliament, and you refused to go to Parliament. You refused practically to go to Parliament when Parliament was reconvened. So what kind of circus are we in? We're in a complete circus. You cannot make any reasonable prediction today sitting here based on the Supreme Court decision. In any case, Afenyo Markin, one of his biggest problems is that he cannot sit in the chair of the minority leader for spiritual reasons. Is there a chair in Parliament which is designated as the minority leader's chair? I don't know. There's no chair in Parliament, as far as I'm concerned, which is designated as a minority leader's chair.
There are sides. And then there is a place on each side for the leaders. And then there are name tags too.
Yeah, but those name tags, they are always removed. They remove Haruna Idrisu's name tag and put Atufos's name tag. You know, they're always removed. So there's no chair, practically, which is designated as belonging to one particular person. There's no chair.
Now you don't know. Maybe somebody carries this chair.
And this right side and left side is not even in the standing orders of Parliament.
It's a convention.
Yes. Okay.
It's a convention.
Randy, I'm not disputing that. But it's not in the standing orders. It's not something that you can enforce by law. Even the Supreme Court cannot decide who sits where in Parliament. It's not a matter of constitutional interpretation. It's not a violation of law and so on. So this ruling by the Supreme Court, what really is the effect of that?
I told you.
Yes, Randy, tell me what the effect
that the group that has operated as the majority from January 8th or so will continue to operate as such until the dissolution of Parliament. That's the effect.
You see, there are other practical problems. And Honorable, please guide us. You are a member of Parliament. You have Right Honorable Bagbin as the Speaker of Parliament. Okay? And then you have Joe Wise, I've forgotten his real name.
Joe Osewusu
as the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. And then you have the independent Member of Parliament as the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. What does the rule say?
That both should not come from the same party.
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying that.
Now you have a situation where the first Deputy Speaker is from MPP,
maybe when
the second Deputy Speaker is from MPP. What a situation!
But see, maybe what should have happened was that maybe somebody should have gone to court at the time to say that to the extent that he has opted to work with the MPP group, and to the extent that that then constitutes the majority group, he cannot, or both of them cannot be first deputy and second deputy.
There were practical problems. Okay. One of the practical problems was that in persuading him to be on the NPP side,
yes,
this is one of the offers made to him.
Yes.
That if he agreed to be on the NPP side, he would then become the second deputy speaker of parliament. One of the things that was offered to him.
And the NDC also agreed.
And the NDC itself, at the time, was not in a fighting mood. It was in a mood for compromises.
No, they believed that they had gotten the speaker. So if the MPP will not drag the issue of the chewed ballot papers and others, and this is what they want, let's give it to them and move.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the NDC itself was in a mood to abandon principle and legality at that time in favor of compromises. This is the price we are paying for the compromises, the unreasonable and illegal compromises which were reached at the time. That's the price we are paying.
You have a point.
Okay? So, if you are in a crisis, you are in a crisis because all the parties in parliament, plus the speaker, decided to reach compromises which on the face of the compromises violated the constitution.
Because they then believe that they are master of their own rules.
Exactly.
Today, one side doesn't believe same.
Exactly. One side and the Supreme Court are saying that we are not in.
No, they don't believe, so they went.
Yes, and the Supreme Court agrees with them. Okay? So now we are in a situation where compromise, where negotiations and so on has been thrown away.
But that's what Afenyo Markin is asking for now. This is extending a hand of friendship. They should
After
come.
all this.
Yeah, they should come. They should come. They should put that episode behind them and come.
But you see, hand of friendship can be taken or rejected. You offer a hand of friendship, it can be taken or rejected. And I'm quite sure, almost certain, that Afenyo Markin is not the only spiritual person in parliament.
Okay.
That even on his side, there are others who believe in the spirit. What spirit it is, I don't know.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was hazarding a guess that it could be the spirit of Susum Cabre.
Which is what?
In the Osofo does it.
Okay.
I mean, the Osofo, he used to call on Susum Cabre,
Yes.
and yesterday I was wondering whether Susum Cabre has not found a way to enter parliament, But there may be other Susums and spirits. Now, if everybody is to be as spiritual as Afenyo Markin is, there will be no resolution to the matter.
I just saw something on TV. I thought that was a Susan Cabra. It appears that is actually a human being.
So, this whole issue, really, I mean, and sometimes I sit down and I watch what happens in Parliament and in other governance institutions and so on. And you simply just begin to wonder, Honorable, whether the people we have entrusted with powers to run our governance institutions and so on are adults. You wonder sometimes, really. I mean, when you see members of Parliament grabbing ballot papers and chewing them and so on, you begin to wonder, what is happening here? What really is happening in our Parliament? I don't know.
Because the aging is just is a natural thing. It doesn't mean the fact that somebody is adding on with the years. Does not. Yeah, there's a certain expectation by society, but why? We are told that fools grow old too, idiots grow old too, thieves grow old too, dishonest people grow old too. So,
Randy, I'm not going to contest you, except that
unprincipled people grow old too.
Yes, except that as you grow old, you come through different experiences.
You mature in your whatever. If it is folly, you mature in it. If it is stupidity, you mature in it. If it's wisdom, you mature in it.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is that for those who are foolish, I don't even see maturity in their foolishness. That's the point I'm making. And excuse my language, if there are some people who can be described as idiotic, we are not even seeing maturity in their idiocy. That's the point I'm making. I mean, this business of chewing ballot papers and so, I mean, how?
That's just it's people bibli. That's spiritual. It wasn't.